Doing? What is this?
I'm counting. It's Math Science Technology Camp.
Yay!
Actually, I decided to call it Science and Math Technology Camp. I think we should call it
Do a science experiment today, and then you'll also be working in one of our labs.
Technology, computer lab.
Yes, one of our computer labs. Mr.
Science,
Clark,
Math, Technology. Woo!
Yeah, so the goggles. There's some spray, you can spray it, paper towel, wipe it off. I think they're labeled like Howie Clean, because like Howie Mandel, and he's like a germaphobe. I never heard of Howie Mandel. Yeah, America's Got Talent. So this will be broken up into like 3 parts: introduction, do a demo, and then we'll have you do the lab. So we're not going to tell you the answer in the lab. So you're going to go through the lab, and you're going to be like, do I know if I'm correct? Now, why are we not going to tell you the answer in this camp?
To test what we already know.
To build your confidence. Most likely, if you commit a crime, you're not going to be like, hey, police officer, you got it right. I'm guilty. No, the convict or the criminal is not going to tell you that. So you have to be confident as the prosecutor. Also, as you're working in a crime lab, you have to be confident that the results are accurate. So I'm not going to tell you that. You just look at the data, and you would have to present that, and then I would feel happy if you got everything right. Now, there's also some stuff on the front side of the sheet. You can go ahead and move once you've got your goggles clean. Move on down to the final location you're going to work. You'll also see on the back of the sheet that there's some work associated with the lab that you could probably do at home. Now, why would you want to do that? You can partner up the two. Hopefully you have your safety contract out. That's kind of your ticket in the lab. That's good. So go ahead and go to a station, like right here's a station, here's a station. The stations are set up for 2 people. 2 people per station. So why would you want to do this work on the back of the sheet? Anybody know why? It's a struggle. Now, the ACT. Why do colleges look so closely at the ACT? Well, you'll be more concerned about it as you become a junior and senior. The rest of your parents will. They look at the ACT very closely because it determines what? Starts with a W. Yeah, it determines your work ethic. So what kind of work ethic do you have? Well, Mr. Stoner or Mr. Logan. Mr. Lloyd, correction, sorry about that, Mr. Lloyd. If you don't have a good work ethic, that is, you're not willing to go beyond what's just being taught in the classroom, you're not going to be approaching those 35 test scores on ACT. And if you're really fortunate, you might get 36, and you'll be really happy. The people that do that, they oftentimes know more than I do, because I forget stuff, so they'll have, memory on that. Make sense? So we want you to work on that. Now, first thing up here, we're going to do a little demo, and this demo is about gunpowder. So gunpowder is fairly common. It's got 3 parts to it: carbon, sulfur, and potassium nitrate. Now, if you look over here, carbon has a structure that looks like this. The periodic table has got, it's organized based on what? You might know what it's organized based on. Starts with E. Electrons. The behavior. So it looks like it does. So if you look at the periodic table, why does it look like that? Why does it have 18 groups? It's because of the behavior. So these little dots up here are electrons. And there's 4 dots around carbon because it's in the 4th main group. It's in group 14 up there. We'll talk more about that later in chemistry. But when carbon bonds with itself, it kind of looks like this. You can see how it's inner bonding, and Diamond is one of the hardest structures on Earth because these bonds bond really tightly. Then we have sulfur over here. It has this octagon shape. There's 8 of those. What's similar to that? Anybody know it has an octagon shape? You usually purchase it maybe once a week with your automobile. It's like the G. Gasoline. Octane, remember octane? It's the octane rating. So it's a 8 structure carbon. And over here then we have the last part is potassium nitrate. It looks like this. Potassium is bonded to the nitrate. So which of these is causing the fire? Because gunpowder when you light it, it's where it's just the fire. What's causing the fire?
The gasoline.
Close. It's actually the oxygen, the oxidizer. So if you add, if you ever go to a hospital, like there's no, well, back in my days you could smoke, there'd be little signs, no smoking. Kind of understood now, but if you smoke around oxygen, it's bad because it can really burn up really quick. So this part actually causes the gunpowder to go really, really fast, really explosive fast. And why did they add the sulfur? Well, carbon's kind of, you ever had to start a fire, you got big pieces of wood, like big logs. That's how kind of carbon is, right? It's big, and you gotta kind of break it apart. And the kindling is the sulfur. So you ever had little sticks, you break the wood apart? That's what the sulfur is. Sulfur is so aggressive that you can actually put it with iron and it'll catch it on fire. Yeah, if you increase the temperature enough. So this right here is some gunpowder. Now, this is what the stuff looks like. We got it back there on this is the potassium nitrate. It's a salt. And where did they mine it during the Civil War in Kentucky? Anybody know? Potassium nitrate was mined. It's called saltpeter. And that's saltpeter. Anybody know where it's mined?
It's mined in the Mammoth Cave. Ever heard of Mammoth Cave?
Yes.
Now, often I'll let students demo because it's pretty cool. Anybody want to demo this? Anybody want to demo it?
I'll do
Come
it.
up here. All right, put your goggles on. Now, obviously, I have a meter stick because we're far enough away from the fire, right? What you're going to do, hold the stick, you're going to put that onto the wick right there.
Here.
Yeah.
So that would be gunpowder. It's pretty cool. Now this right here, these are called white hots. Anybody ever heard of white hots? Okay, where did we use it for?
I'm not sure, I just know it.
Okay, so you ever go hunting like with a muzzleloader? These are preferred. Both of these are used. White hots are preferred. They're preferred because the carbon will leave a lot of like residue behind your weapon. You got to clean it. It's kind of a mess. The white hot is basically composed of cotton, cellulose. It's called nitrocellulose. And they used to use nitrocellulose in the gun cotton. So gun cotton was used for, you put the gun cotton with the gunpowder in the bullet, and the gun cotton would cause the round to go really fast. So they basically perfected making gun cotton. It wasn't cellulose like the t-shirt, and they treated it with some acids, and it worked. So you should notice a difference in the smoke on this one. That's what I'm telling you to look at that observation.
Yeah, so that burns really, really hot. You see why we wanted to have the the meter stick there. I wish I had that on video. That was pretty cool. Yeah, so
That was like ferociously burning. Did you see a lot of smoke? There was a little bit of smoke, so I have to put it on video to show you the difference. But, so that kind of ends the demo. Any questions on that? So we have a couple, let's go ahead and look at the lab now, so we get you started in that. So you have some time to work on that. We don't want to not give you any time to see the lab. So the first one says, we're talking about chemical changes, or often referred to as chemical reactions. So was that a chemical change up here? Did we witness a chemical change up here? Anybody? Yes. When we look at change, like a color change, heat given off, smoke, those are changes, right? With a chemical change, you have to notice how many to be sure it is a chemical change. You have to notice 2. Everybody say 2. If you just see a color change, you can take copper sulfate, which is blue, and you can heat it and it turns white. That's not a chemical change. Everybody clear? That's smoking. That's such a fire alarm. I'm freaking out. Like, it's just fire alarm. I think it's on. So, chemical change. And let's get somebody to read the paragraph there before you heard me talk a little bit. Chemical reactions. You should have your name tags on, so I should be able to call you out if you want to read. Ellie, can you read for us?
Chemical reactions result in the formation of new substances in either absorption or emission of energy such as heat, light, or electricity. A new substance may be recognized by a change in color or a change in state. Therefore, the formation of a gas or a solid such as a precipitate, where there is none indicates that a chemical reaction has occurred.
Any question on that? Okay, so the procedure there, that's kind of your homework there, where it says in step 1, write the brief description of each of the solutions. Well, you can do that too.
Yeah, they automatically start.
Yeah. Now we have this on a meter stick and a piece of wood so we don't burn ourselves, because this is gunpowder. You're just going to light the little wick there. That's gunpowder. Now, have you ever heard of white hots? You ever heard of white hot? White hots are used in muzzle loaders. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of a muzzle loader. It's a type of gun. These both are used in muzzle loaders. The white hot is preferred because you don't have to measure it out. You can just put 3 of these in. It's the most you can put in the muzzle loader, or 2. Typically, I'll put 2 in. This is 50 grains. Put 3 in. You're shooting a 150 grain bullet. So if you buy bullets, that'll make more sense to you. So this is 50 grains. Now, people prefer this because it makes something called gun cotton. Now, in the past, they used gun cotton with the ball bearing and the gunpowder. They were like, let's just get rid of the gunpowder and just use the gun cotton. And that's basically what this is. This is a lot more, I guess you would say, violent. It's typically used also in your modern weapons. Gunpowder is not used as much. You see how much more violent that flame was compared to this one? See the reaction? Which reaction was faster? Yeah, the second one, reaction was faster.
So we have it on video. You can see it on video if you doubt that. Now,
Sued. I don't want to be sued. So we're going to light this. I'm going to try to get a picture of this. I want to picture this today. It's pretty Instagram. So you see the wick right there? You're going to light the wick. Okay. And hold on, let me get my camera ready.
It's out.
Oh, it went out. You gotta keep it lit now. Hold it down and it'll stay lit.
It's out again.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? If you hold it down. down, it has stuff to burn. And not like this. Like that. Once you bring it up, you're depriving it of fuel.
It's already out.
Alright, so go ahead and light the wick there.
Woo!
Oh yeah, so I got that on good video there. Good picture there. Alright, so that would be the gunpowder. Now this one right here is called a white hot. Anybody ever heard of white hot? This is a white hot. This is used in muzzle loader. It's a type of weapon that old school used to use. They use both of these in muzzle loaders. This one's preferred because it's basically cotton, like your shirt, cotton.
Your shirt cotton, and they treat it with nitric acid and sulfuric acid. So it basically makes gun cotton. In the past, they used gun cotton along with gunpowder and the bullet. So they're like, let's just get rid of gunpowder because it produces residue on the weapon. You got to clean that. And guess what guys don't like to do? Clean, yeah. Cleaning, horrible.
So this is a white hot. Now I want you to notice the difference between these two. See if you can see the difference. Okay. Step back, step back. You like that. Step back. Alright, so you might notice the difference about that? Continue on with the MSSP program that we did at the beginning of the year. I'll just tag this onto that. It's first day of school. We're just talking about videos and the photo release form that you need to have signed by your parent. Also the Flynn safety contract, which needs to be signed by your parent. We will read that before we go into the lab. We'll just pull it up on the overhead. Safety contract before I can take you into the lab. So labs in the lab will start in about 3 weeks because add drops end in 3 weeks. That is, you can no longer add or drop a student. So what I'm doing right now is just placing you in your assigned seat. Twitter. Also want you to follow me on YouTube. Now if you're absent and you come in, you're like, Mr. Stoniker, what did we do yesterday? I'm going to say go to the YouTube account, my name, look up the video, here's a Cornell note, do some Cornell notes on what we did yesterday. It would be very difficult for me just to check an assignment that we did yesterday because you can just like cheat. Tonight you're doing an essay. That means that hopefully it will be your own writing because I'm not going to grade you on how poorly you write. If you're just copying off of somebody else, you're not really preparing yourself to be a leader. If you're just copying off what somebody else says, you're not preparing yourself to be a leader. Write. The more you read, the better you will write. If you're not reading, you're not leading. So keep that in mind. I'm just going to go around tomorrow and check your essay. If you're absent, you come in the next day, you're like, Mr. Stoniker, what did we do? I'll say, well, go watch the YouTube video, take some notes. So I want you to follow me on Twitter. Now, my my YouTube page, all my subscribers were deleted when they did an upgrade to it. So I don't have any subscribers, so I need some subscribers. I have no like followers. Yeah, because you know if you get 1 million subscribers, there's another David Stoniker out there. He married an African girl, and he's got like 300,000 subscribers. So he was part of the reason why I established this account just so I could be like his twin and have more subscribers. But now I have like 1 subscriber, so he's really. Huh? Yeah, this is me, but there's another David Stoniker out there. You know, there's always that one person that has your name too out there.
She was saying, you said that you only have
No, it's actually my son. Yeah, I know, the pain. It's tough, yeah. He's in middle school. All right, so periodic table day. Now, next year is the the international year of the periodic table. Now, who is promoting that? Anybody know? Who's promoting that? Starts with an R. It's a country. It costs money to do this. I mean, I had to pay to get the national periodic table. They just didn't say, "Oh, Mr. Stein, you're such a cool high school teacher. Let me just give this to you." No, I had to pay. Then I had to defend it. And I was able to do both. I bought the websites before I filled out the application. I was like, "Well, if you want to fight me, I got the websites." Okay. It's a hobby. Russia is promoting the International Periodic Table Day because of Mendel. Bunsen Burner perfected the Bunsen burner. He didn't come up with the idea. Mendel, who's a Russian, perfected the periodic table. He didn't come up with the idea. There were several people that were working on it. John Newlands published a table before him, and in that table he came up with the law of the octaves. And there are only 7 groups in the periodic table that are predictable. So because of that, we support the periodic table day starting on February 7th, I think it's, memorize the date here. It says right here. 1863. Yeah, right here. February 7th, 1863. Whereas the Russians, they support Mendel's 1869. So there's a couple year difference between 1863 and 1869. And we'll talk more about that. If you read on here, there's more to document the difference between the two. And we'll see that later on in the year. But I'm just introducing it to you now because it's on the resume. I have an ethanol distillation patent right here. I'm an inventor. The goal of the patent was to make yeast more efficient. Like if I have a basketball team, I choose the best players and then I put them on my team. I just don't let everybody play. What happens if you let everybody play? You're not going to be very efficient, right? Some people do certain drills or techniques better than other people, right? And in the process, this was done when gasoline was $5 a gallon. This was several years ago, and there were a bunch of hurricanes. So I was thinking, well, let's try to make this process more efficient. They put 10% ethanol in your gasoline right now as it is. You can buy E85 if you purchase an automobile that runs on ethanol. Are you familiar with that? Yeah, they do. They don't sell them as much now, but if you went back 5 years, they were selling more of them then. They've got into fracking, which is oil. Oil prices determine what? What happens if oil prices go up? Inflation goes up. So they try to keep oil prices low. Which country has the largest proven oil reserves? What? No. No. Jerusalem? No. Which country has the largest proven oil reserves? No. I'll give you a hint. No. Starts with a V. No. Venezuela. Venezuela right now is going through like serious economic hardships. If you doubt what I'm saying, just go on Google and search Venezuela. Venezuela is in like chaos because they have a communist leader. We don't like communism, so we've done a lot of things to make it difficult for them. But one day when our oil reserves run out, when Canada, they stop mining their sands, Venezuela is going to be a very wealthy country because gasoline, most people go like, I would not pay $5,000 for a gallon of gas, but that's really what it's valued at because that's the amount of work that it can perform. You buy a chainsaw, you put the gas in a chainsaw, it allows you to do
a lot of work that you would have to manually do. So that's why it's valued so, $5,000 a gallon. So, I spent about $15K on that, and it was a total economic failure for me because I haven't made any money off of it. So on your information sheet it says right there, what does it take to have a positive mindset? Anybody know?
Prepare yourself mentally for loss.
Yeah, it has to do with failure. You cannot be afraid of failure. Failure is how you grow. So you really want to fail early, fail fast. So I wasn't afraid to fail when I went after the patent. Because you never know what's going to happen. A lot of it's timing. If you were like 500 years from now, it probably would have been very successful. Because oil might run out by then. They might want to have a more efficient way of making ethanol. Right now they don't. So you can't be afraid of failure. So you want to fail early, fail fast. Now I stopped the bleeding, that is the loss of money, by not renewing the patent. So you could go take this now and build it in the United States, and you wouldn't have me coming after you with a lawsuit. Next on the resume, I'm a published author. I published my book in 2010. It's for sale on Amazon. I love Amazon. You're not going to find it locally. It's pretty controversial. There's some things in there that, make it not want to be sold at certain establishments because it's kind of controversial. But Amazon, they've been behind me ever since I published it, so I've been really, really thankful for them. I haven't really sought to promote it. I use it primarily for copyright issues. That is, if somebody else out there tries to say something that I've said, they're going to get sued because of copyright issues. It's going to be in their best interest, and it's going to be in my best interest. Like I'm saying, if you're promoting something and somebody is saying it shouldn't be promoted, it's a timing issue. It's not the right time. I'm not going to fight them over it, but if they go and try to say something without giving me credit for it, they're going to get sued. That's what copyright's all about.
If you don't mind me asking, what's controversial?
Oh, there's several things that are controversial. We'll talk about them as we progress through the year. I don't have enough time to tell you all today, but I will tell you that I'm a published author.
Do you have a copy that we could read?
I do have copies. I don't have copies here. Let's see here. And my website. I have multiple websites. This one right here, KentuckyScience.com. I'm redeveloping this one this year. Last year, I spent most of my time on YouTube developing YouTube videos because everything's gone to video from picture. If you go and you look here, almost all of my previous teaching experience is documented on Kentucky Science. Just click through the evidence and you'll see it there. So for me, when I retire one day, it's a way for me to look back and remember my students. Right now I'm just surviving. I get through the summer, I'm like, I don't even want to think about work. So we just, hang out. But when I retire, I want to remember everybody. And it's a tool for me, to do that. The video as well. You'll understand one day when you get a job. Work is really difficult because you end up doing the same thing every day. Like, you've gone to different classes, but I've kind of pretty much taught chemistry all day. And when you do the same thing every day, it's called work. So keep that in mind. So I will video like I'm videoing right now, and then I put that on YouTube. I'm a deacon at my church. I've been a deacon 6 years. I'm on a sabbatical right now, just taking a year off. It's a leader.
I like cut the grass, pull weeds, straighten chairs, do things like that. Help people out. You have to have access keys, so it's a liability. That's why they give you titles. Trust. I'm a cross-country coach, track coach, golf coach. And my last thing is military. Now, you won't see any of my high school jobs on there because when I was in high school, school came first, so that if I was late to work, they would probably say that he was not here half the time. Oh, we fired him. Well, school took preference, so I'm not going to put those references up there. Does it make sense? Upload speeds. Very difficult to put your own video on your website. The upload speeds are just really, really slow. That's why most people use either YouTube or Vimeo. That's one you have to pay for. But I was very happy to find out that they didn't delete my video. So if I only have like one subscriber, I'd like more than one. There on your desk. They're labeled like Solution 1. This says Solution 1 and it says the name on it, hydrochloric acid. It's got all the safety symbols on it. So you're all good there. Now, once you pick up a chemical, guess what you have to have on? Glasses. You must have your goggles on. So, yeah, I'll be yelling at you if you don't do that. Now, at the bottom here, it says Part 2, Procedure. Let's get, how about Ryan? Can you read that for us? Where it says, this is what you can actually be doing now. It says mix.
Mix every possible combination of solutions using 3 to 4 drops of each solution in cavities in the chemical. Stir each mixture with a clean spatula in the following chart next to the appropriate combination of chemicals. Describe the results that occur by